A little bit of entertainment, but if you've watched this movie, Khoon, Maang, yeah? So there is this um, story where Rekha, the protagonist, is conservative, yeah? Marries a person who is after her money, yeah? And um, and she gets thrown into this pool of crocodiles. So she dies, and he gets the money, and then she somehow survives by she has this diamond earring, and she somehow manages to have somebody who helps her with that diamond ring to purchase the necessary requirements, and then she makes a comeback. Yeah, so it's a story. You need to watch that. Being married, yeah, this idea of twin flame is kind of like Khoonbari Mang. Yeah, being married is like Khoonbari Mang. Anybody, because there is history and herstory worth of stories in the blood. Yeah, blood boil and metabolic processes and whatnot. The crocodiles also represent the reptilian brain, and every human being has a reptilian brain. And there is survival concerns. Maslow's hierarchy of needs talks about basic needs, yeah? So reptilian brain, survival and survival of the fittest. And yeah, so if you watch the crocodile, you'll kind of have an idea. But the thing is, it's me versus you, yeah? In spite of how you are there. So there are several instinctual um, facets from the genes that then show up, genetics, inherited traits. And humans have also evolved over time from animal ancestors, microbial, plant. There are many ancestral lines, and they all have an influence on the genes. And if the genes are not being regularly repaired, there is influence from also electronic gadgets around. And if the genes are not getting regularly repaired, the traits that are already there, it's just instinctively there. Yeah, crocodile traits. And then there is also mammalian brain and the neocortex, which is not just mammalian, which is said to be more human, reasoning, rational, which other animals are not supposed to be having, yeah, thought to be having. Being married and the idea of the twin flame is where um, male dynasty, female dynasty, every person who has a body that's human has the male and female features. Yeah. And okay, mother material, father material. So male dynasty, female dynasty. You have a body that's human, you have to deal with history and herstory. Yeah. You're born into the bed of history. Mother's uterus is basically the bed of history because all mankind formed from the uterus. Yeah. We have in vitro fertilization. But I've heard some reports that they don't feel as much. Their sensibilities, sense and sensibilities is slightly different. Maybe that's because they are not born in the bed of history, the uterus. Different parts of our body hold their own story, yeah, of how they formed. Um, and then, in light of the fact that our body is history and herstory in walkie-talkie mode, uh, it just makes sense to be regular blood calmers. Yeah, the Harry Potter movie series. Yeah, they talk about mug blood or people who apparently they're dirty blood people. Yeah, mug blood, and then there are magical people, and the magical people are in Harry Potter series. They're fighting each other. Yeah, so who is clear? Yeah, they are still fighting and calling you another one bad. The mudblood people consider magic as you don't do that. Yeah, and magical people think mudblood people, no magic people, are they don't know what they don't know. So anyway, the fight is continuing. Yeah, so the concern has boil in the blood. Yeah, and reptilian brain, mammalian brain, neocortex. So who's functioning with common sense? Where you don't even need magic. or or visualizations, or making sounds, or yeah, chanting, or all of that, just to be normal, ordinary, and sane. Yeah. Because anyhow, the Harry Potter series, they're killing each other. Yeah. So being married, just having a body that's human, is like a fine marriage between male and female dynasties, because a body formed from nature and nurture, masculine and feminine aspects. Yeah. And Yoga Shastras also say a body has the left and right sides, masculine and feminine aspects. So, um, what then does it take to be maintain the the clarity of water in your body? They also call it Ganga. Yeah. Because otherwise we are influenced by masculine and feminine, the male and female dynasties. Not to mention gadgets, affects from the sun, moon, stars, planets. Yeah. Um, Somebody in the environment sneezes and then you get affected. Yeah. And so you're sitting for too long, your body's affected. You're walking for too long, your body's affected. You're sleeping for too long, your body's affected. Yeah. And then you're influenced by the posture you're sitting in. For example, you cross your legs. That affects your left versus right brain composition. And then um, you sit for in a particular position for too long, and then you have to do, say, some activity, and then you're a little cramped. Your brain is not functioning as well, and then you would have why are you not as optimal as you should be? Yeah, maybe you should meet a doctor. Yeah. You need to actually maintain your composition well enough. Otherwise, there's always a default, you may be sick. Yeah. So blood concerns. So reptilian brain, mammalian brain, neocortex. And this is just one person. If you're talking about, say, a household, yeah, mother, father, children, each of them have to deal with history and history concerns, because everybody that's human formed from masculine and feminine concerns. And we have a lot of kind of broken histories, because over time in history, there have been people who cut off people's nose, or cut off people's ears, or hands, or fingers, or different. We have surgery regularly. They're cutting, cutting into people's body parts, or replacing, or yeah, suturing, and so cutting it. Yeah, this is breaking the story of the human stories are regular practice. We are yet to go beyond. I happen to think along the lines of how to, heal the fabric of time space from the human morphic resonance field, from the body, a body formed over several cycles of evolution. And then there's this idea of circadian rhythms. So as we remember how to be human, yeah, through mighty suite of how-tos, um, we also kind of heal, repair the human morphic resonance field, which also has stories of, nose getting cut off, ears getting cut off, yeah, head getting cut off, different surgeries, different parts, and then you need to repair those stories on how to be human. It's like a template. It's like a human being is a template. A dog is a template. Cat is a template. Plant, mango tree, template. Banana tree, shrub, one template. Yeah, rock, template. So we recognize a rock, we recognize a chair, and we don't confuse between the two, because we have an idea of this is how a rock is. There's a template from where we understand it. This is how a chair is. If the chair is looking slightly different, we have another name for it. For example, it could be a chair, or it could be a cot, or it could be anything else. We recognize things by templates. And so similarly, a human has a template. When they are looking at like a human composition, then we remember this is a human condition. And then to repair that template, yeah, like if you have a software and you have a template, and if the template is kind of broken, you'll have to keep repairing it. Yeah, otherwise it kind of devolves into or becomes something else. So to maintain being human and to make that template better, such that we are getting to be a better um, organism that requires regularly healing the human body, such that stories that has formed from, for example, ancestral material, genetic material, where somebody's nose was cut off, somebody's ears was cut off, different, and then this trauma and stories from there. So you need to regularly heal that. So from, say, some ancestor whose nose was cut off, there would be traumatic stories about nose. You can't feel your nose because in the genetic memory, yeah, there's been a break in the memory where somebody or some people didn't have their nose to remember to incorporate information. So there's a break in information. So some people can't feel their nose, some people can't hear, some people can't feel their skin. Ew. Okay. Yeah, that sounds very not so nice. And the blood boils accordingly. When somebody says you don't know you can't feel your skin, others, so different people have different composition. So consequently, to remember how to be human and to become a better person, to be whole, perfect, and complete, we need to do a little bit of work so we remember where we come from. And then we also include what could not be included. For example, a cut off nose. Yeah. Or ears. Yeah. And then to behave in such a way that the continuity of the story is better and we are not adding to the add, delete, that stuff. Yeah. So our natural intelligence is organically evolving into wholesomeness. Yeah. Thank you so much for your kind interest. I would recommend you join my course. I'm making an online course. I'll leave the link in the description. So you can kind of pick up and continue and then learn on repairing your story, your fabric of, your family fabric of time space. So slowly we all will have our own tapestry finely woven together. So we remember where we come from, and we'll have a nice red carpet. Yeah, there's a continuity of where we all come from, how we are all related, and we'll have a party. Thank you so much for your kind interest. Good day.